Turn on quick attack because it lets you use your ability without actually needing to press the ability button, like this. Compared to this, without the setting, you don't actually use your ability whenever you press the button, so you're just meleeing. So you would have to hold down right click, as well as your melee to use it. On the arena map, which uses the background similar to the training round, so I'll just show it here, your crosshair, if it's white, it can blend in with the background. Because of this, it's the worst when it disappears, so you might want to use some other better color for your crosshair, like red or pink. A lot of people's sensitivity is way too high or way too low. Your sensitivity should be fast enough where you can flick on the enemies, but also slow enough to where you can actually aim on them. So I'd always be able to make sure you can actually aim, but also flick between enemies. So just go into the practice range and just practice yourself. Just try moving around using movement guns, double jumping, all this crazy stuff, so you can actually be prepared for your next match. If you really want to win, you should really check on your ping before you go into a match. Ping makes all the difference in matchmaking because it really depends on how combat works. It's really hard to shoot people if you have high ping, and it's really hard to have good movement and good aim if all your shots are delayed. So you should really make sure you have good enough ping. But if you're just here for a good time, it doesn't really matter. You know what they say, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So always make sure you get your practice in the practice range before you actually go into matches. What I would do with this is I'd spend at least like 5 minutes just shooting these targets right here. Preferably like moving around while you're doing it, but I mean really anything works. Literally warm up, like warm your hand muscle, warm everything up while you're shooting at the targets to get ready for your match. I mean, I know it's not that serious, but if you really want to win and want to make everyone look stupid, it helps. It really does. A lot of people make this mistake where they just run 4 damage weapons, like the AR, revolver, knife, Molotov. These are all damage weapons, and you really can't get around with these. In real fights, you need movement. Even if it's just one weapon, for example, changing the daggers out instead of the revolver, or using the scythe instead of the knife, it really makes all the difference, because now you can move around, and then whenever you need to get away, you just dash away. Again, on this mobility thing, if you're using a sniper and you don't have mobility, what are you doing? Look, for example, if I didn't have these daggers in this loadout that I'm using right now, this would be impossible to win with. I would have to just sit in place and hope they run at me. If you get a good shot off, like you hit them for 50 and they start running, just run at them and they'll just flop like a fish. I didn't even realize that was my thing. But yeah, like literally, you just need mobility. I honestly see a lot more people failing with this one, but it's like you're treating daggers as a hit scan. What that means is like when you shoot that, you just click and it instantly scans the hit. But for this, it flies through the air. Like you can see the daggers flying through the air, obviously. Knowing this, you have to predict where they're going in advance. Like obviously, it won't be able to be seen on these targets, but players, they run around. They're not just gonna stand still and wait for the daggers to land on them. You have to predict. You'll see me a lot like just pre-firing like these corners. Cause like, for example, if someone was peeking this corner right here, if they were peeking that and I just throw these, they're just gonna walk into it. A lot of people do this where they pick an explosive gun like the RPG, but they don't actually use it for movement. Well, yeah, it does a lot of damage when you're close up like that. It's also a movement weapon. You travel very far. You can shoot against walls. Like even this, like if you use a grenade launcher, it's even better. So just make sure you know what you're doing with the weapons you pick, because this is really OP, as you can see. I'll give you 3 seconds to find out what's wrong with this loadout. If you guess there's no good secondary, then you'd be right. What I mean by this is that no secondary that I have can actually deal like direct damage. All of these are like molly damage, and then this is just like close up. You can't use fists to actually damage. So like if I was fighting someone and I had to reload, like it takes a whole second for this, and I can't do anything for that whole second. I mean, I guess I can shoot this and like do all this crap, but that doesn't do anything. If they're running at me, you need like a secondary, like a revolver. I would run like something similar to this, maybe fist and then Molotov. Like if I was on arena, or maybe not arena, but like a longer range map, this is probably something I'd run, because now if they get close, I can just do that and then they're dead. All right, for these next few, I'm gonna actually play them out in game. So what I'm going to be showing here is re-peeking the same angle. So since this guy, like if I make presence at this angle and I keep peeking it, he's going to be looking here. I can keep looking, or I can keep repositioning and try not to peek the same angle twice. Whenever you re-peek the same angle, it actually worsens your chance of winning that fight, because they already know where you are at. If I stood in place, I would instantly lose that, which I did. So now I'm going to show you what repositioning actually does. I mean, this is true for any shooter game. After each shot, you should take a new position in their fight so you don't lose. And for this next one, is starting location. If every round I start at the ramp, he's gonna be picking up on that. So each round you want to start in a different starting location and actually think about what you're gonna pick. But you see how last round I started at ramps? I'm gonna try to start over here. And see, he was looking at ramps right there. And I just beat him because of that. If I went ramps, he could have one-shot me. Because he was looking over there already.
Huh?
So for this next mistake, I'm going to demonstrate it right now. It's when people push with their secondary before even lowering them their primary. I was rushing him with my secondary right there with my revolver. But if I was just rushing him with my AK, I would have killed him there. It's much more important that you reposition against mobile players because they have auto shoot. So they can just hold the angle that you're peeking. Okay, so for this next one, it's going to be pretty simple. I mean, just don't fight in the open. There's always cover in all these maps. Like Arena, there's a lot of cover. This map is like all cover, but never fight in the open. I mean, if you can get an advantage by just cheesing your way through maps, you can just be annoying like this. Like I'm abusing this cover right now. Like I just brutalized that guy just because I abused cover. Like it's insane how you can use cover in this game. And I know this is a given, but really try to abuse movement. This game is all about movement. You guys think like this is like a shooting game? I would say this is more of a movement game than anything. The main difference between pro players and like people like me, like the average noob, but, like these pro players have insane movement. Like they're just jumping around and everything. That's really what this game's all about. I mean, I'm trying to be better at it. Like you can see, I try to do things like this because you can slide super fast doing weird tech like that. But really just try to learn, try to be better at your movement. This next tip is pretty simple, but I would say a lot of people actually mess this up somehow. And it's like unnecessarily changing your weapons. Like if you don't need to change your weapons, then don't. Like you can see like right there, I didn't have to change my AK, but I changed my daggers because I knew it would be better. Because you can just cheese it easily. You don't have to see them. You just throw them and then you tuck for cover with daggers. This game, there's a lot of strategy to it. So if you can put it all together, it's really easy to win. Like as you can see, this guy's high level. And I'm using all these tips that I've already said. And I'm about to 5-0 him. And for these last few, I'm just going to stay in the range because they don't really need to be demonstrated. More rather, they're more theoretical. But don't tilt, bro. If you're gonna queue and you really want to win, you shouldn't tilt. Like after you get mad, you should just take a break, take a deep breath, just relax, bro. I mean, the game's not that serious. It's just a game after all, so don't be pressed. Every decision is just gonna be emotional, so make sure you don't do that. Another thing I see is like a lot of people blame the weapon. I mean, like you can see in my last video, I use quote unquote worst loadout, which I don't really think, but I used a bad loadout and I really could destroy everyone. It's really a thing of like skill. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best, obviously, but I would say I'm better than the average player, and that's come from just me learning all these things and playing all these games, which I'm teaching you now. I'm teaching all these mistakes. But really just rather than blaming your guns or your loadout, try to learn, try to see what's going wrong and try to make strategies out of what you have. So running this sort of loadout would be pretty good using these too, because this is like a movement. Well, this is slow, so you can run with this, and then if you shoot this and then you run out of ammo, you can just switch guns, and now you have the revolver, and while you reload, you can just tuck away. You can just shoot, and then shoot with your revolver, and then they're dead, just like that. So really just come up with strategy. And for this next one, I mean, I would say this is pretty simple, but understand what your opponent is using. Usually on maps like Arena, you can hear what they're using. You can hear if they're using an AR, or you can hear if they're using like a crossbow or something, which I guess is sweaty. It's not really sweaty if it's a thing added in the game, and it's really obvious. Like, it's pretty loud. And over time, you'll just get to know it. I mean, I'm not that good. I'm only level 50, and I'm like, I basically know all of them. They're pretty distinct when you learn them. So just playing off that knowledge is really useful. This next mistake kind of goes along with my previous one, but understand why you're dying. Understand what's going wrong. You can't instantly dismiss a death not being your fault if you don't actually understand why you died. This really goes for any shooter game. Really understand what happened in your death. Did you go to the ramp and then you jumped up and then he just headshot you? Okay, so next time you're not going to go on the ramp. You're going to go to the side and try to reposition each time you shoot, cheese the ramp and go around. Just stuff like that. I mean, it really doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to think of a plan and a plan of action to actually fix why you're losing. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. This is my second video, so make sure you let me know how you liked it or how it went, or if you want anything changed. See you guys.